Welcome back to another edition of the Pagcast. I'm your host, Michael Pagani, joined alongside Florida Everblades Defenceman Jordan Sambrook. Jordan, welcome to the Pagcast. Thank you again for coming on.
Thanks very much for having me.
What have you been doing outside of hockey? Because like a lot of hockey players, they really go to hockey, like during the, OHL season, it's, 64 games, NHL, it's 82. And really there's no downtime other than just doing hockey. So what are you up to besides that?
I know the big thing for me is I like to golf a lot. I'm a pretty big golfer, along with, whether it be in the season, like I said, down in Florida or back here with my buddies. That's probably one of the biggest things. I try and get out as much as I can during the week and everything like that. So, just trying to stay active. I like to play tennis too, just trying to do some other sports, when it's my downtime.
So you find as though that, taking a break from hockey in the off season is quite important for yourself.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, the training aspect and skating and all that stuff, staying in shape for the season is, extremely important that I keep up with on a day-to-day basis. But yeah, for sure, kind of like when you're just at home doing nothing, just text my buddies and say, hey, what are you up to? And want to play some golf or some do something like that. So yeah, I'd say it's definitely important.
Growing up in Markham, and that was the same place that everyone knows Steven Stamkos grew up in. Who was your favorite player growing up?
Growing up, I guess being a Leafs fan, probably Matt Sundin was probably the biggest one I kind of liked. Obviously, I'm a defenseman; he was a forward, but he was just kind of like an icon, kind of with the Leafs. So definitely him for sure. And obviously, yeah, all the Markham guys that play, Michael Del Zotto, Stamkos. Obviously, they're and I met them a few times actually, so it's kind of cool. But they're obviously someone I look up to as well.
How did you end up choosing your number 6 for the Florida Everblades?
So actually in minor hockey, it was number 9 for a while. That's always kind of the number I liked. And then I went to junior and they already had a number 9. So I was like, let's just flip it upside down kind of thing, make it a 6. And then 6 was taken at Brock as well, or it might have been retired or something. So I switched to 55 at Brock. But then once I found out when I went to Florida that number 6 was open, and I said, might as well take it instead for my junior number.
Number 55 is quite the odd, I guess jump from going, 9 to 6 then to 55.
Yeah, it was a pretty weird jump actually. the thing was there, it was only like they only have a certain like they had the pre-made jerseys kind of thing, I guess. So there was only like a certain selection of numbers. So I was like, whatever. There wasn't no like numbers that really appealed to me. So I just I'll go with 55.
Just throw a random dart at a board and give me that jersey.
Basically, yeah. Just point at whatever one you want and then pick that one.
Well, going through your career here, you played in the GTHL for the Toronto Nationals back in 2014 and totaled 24 points in 32 games. What did you learn from playing with the Toronto Nationals?
Yeah, that was probably honestly one of my biggest years development wise, because that was the year after I got drafted to Erie. And then I didn't make the junior A team. So I went and played major midget there. And honestly, it was like a huge, like I said, development year. Like it was it was just a good year for me in terms of having fun, developing my skills. We went all the way and won the TELUS Cup. So we had a really good team there. And our coach that year, Brett Punchard, was very hard on us, but a good players coach as well. So I think him pushing me to be better was, a huge thing for my development.
And what is your definition of a player's coach? Because I know a lot of people have different, definitions and how they define it.
Yeah, I'd say for me, it's a coach that pushes everyone to be better and always has a positive attitude. I think that just brings the team morale up. And when the team morale is up and everyone's happy, excited to come to the rink and excited to play, I think it just helps the team, play better and end up winning some games.
Speaking on that TELUS Cup point that you made there, what was so memorable about that run for you?
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. The last year of minor hockey and knowing that the TELUS Cup was within reach for us. I think our team was just so well gelled together. It was just we didn't really have any standout guys that, would put up 100 points, but everyone, play their roles. And just, we went into every game almost like having the mindset that we were going to win this game. So just making it through the playoffs, winning the GTHL, then winning OHFs, and going to the finals there of the TELUS Cup. I think we were the third seed, I think, going to the playoff round of the TELUS Cup. So we maybe weren't expected to win, but like I said, just the team attitude we had, it ended up propelling us to the victory.
When did you realize that you could have a future in hockey?
I think it was honestly probably during my first OHL season. Obviously making the OHL was a huge accomplishment for me and something that I'm very honored and proud of. But kind of like when that first season came along, I was talking to NHL scouts, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is real kind of thing. And it was just, I was just super happy to be even in those discussions with NHL teams. So I think it was probably around then.
Well, during the playoffs with the Toronto Nationals, you got 6 points in 11 games, and although it's U18, did that team teach you how hard it is to win in the playoffs?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, like I said, we were a really good team in the regular season. I think we finished first or second. I think we were first in the regular season, but even like you see at any level now, it doesn't really matter what place anyone's in going into the playoffs. You got to show up every game and make sure you bring your A game to be able to win.
Well, yeah, I mean, you just look at the Montreal Canadiens this past playoffs. I mean, who would have thought they would have made the Stanley Cup Finals after being 3-1 down to the Leafs?
I know, that was crazy. That was a very intense series, that's for sure. But no, Montreal they played. I think it almost reminded me of the Nats team. Honestly, they were just played so well together as a team, and obviously having Carey Price helps out quite a bit. But they had a good run there.
Always having that brick wall in net is something nice to fall on, or fall back on, I should say.
Yeah, exactly. The goalie's always the last line of defense. So when he's stopping the pucks, it makes our game easier.
Even though you had a short stint with the Aurora Tigers of the OJHL, and you didn't register any points, but with those 7 games, did that kind of help you, with your development?
Yeah, for sure. I would go and practice with Aurora like once or twice a week when I could. So like just kind of being around those guys, and there were some of them that played in the OHL that went down to junior A. So learning from some of those guys, there was a few of them that kind of took me under their wing a little bit there, and just trying to introduce me to the junior A level. And I thought it was a great experience for me, just trying to gain that junior hockey taste, and just being able to play that step up and practice with them every week. I think it helped my development as well.
Speaking of the OHL draft, like you mentioned earlier, you were taken in the 10th round, but how did you set yourself up for making the team out of training camp?
Yeah, so like I said, I didn't make it my first year, then I went and played for the Nats, but that summer was like a really big summer for me. I really wanted to obviously make the team, and I spent a whole lot of time in the gym, doing a whole bunch of different workouts and doing all the runs and states and everything. I just really wanted to, have that good mindset going in that I was going to make this team. I'm good enough to make this team, and I've trained hard enough to make this team. So I think it was all my mindset, and I'd say a really good summer going into it, and was really fortunate to make it.
When you heard that you were getting drafted to the Erie Otters, did you realize that team had Memorial Cup aspirations?
Maybe not right at first, but I think I quickly did realize it. Obviously with the players that have come through the Otters program with David Strome, DeBrincat, all these guys. It was just, as soon as I kind of did a little bit more research on the team and everything, and talked to all the management, I was like, wow, what a special place that I could get drafted to and everything like that. So I think obviously maybe that gave me even more inspiration to make the team. But yeah, it was pretty special.
Well, during your first season as an Otter, you registered 27 points in 67 games. What came easy to you during your rookie season?
I think they just gave me the opportunity to play. Going in there, I didn't know exactly if I was, as a rookie, you never kind of know if you're going to, play every night, or, what the situation will be. But I think I played every game but one. So I was given a huge opportunity to play, and I think I had a really good start to it. I think I had like 8 points in my first 12 games or something. So, I think that kind of boosted my confidence, and playing with guys like Dermot on the back end and everything like that, that kind of helped me transfer into the lead and everything. So I think I just, had a really good start, and it all kind of fell into place after that.
You speak about confidence, but how do you make sure that your confidence doesn't get too high and like you kind of stay middle ground?
Yeah, for sure. Especially, being a rookie, it's kind of hard to balance that. But I think just like with the guys that we had, like I said, I've had played on some very special teams and some really good guys on the team, and the veterans kind of, made sure we kept working hard. And I think that kind of helped my confidence stay like flat, or not too high, not too low kind of thing. So I give all the credit to the guys on the team for that one.
And during the playoffs, during your, in your rookie season, the ice is a lot tighter than it is during the regular season. How did you adjust your game to that?
I just try to do whatever I could to help the team. Obviously, maybe ice was a little bit less in the playoffs and whatnot, but whenever I get out there, I just tried to give it my all and just do something that would make a positive impact for the team.
In that playoff run, you guys beat Saginaw in 4, then beat the Sioux in 5, and unfortunately got swept by London, which was a powerhouse at the time. But you did go on to play one playoff OT game. What's it like playing overtime in the playoffs?
Yeah, that's it started honestly be one of the most intense feelings for sure. Um, I know my second year we played a lot of overtime games, but especially my first one there, I was kind of super nervous, um, but they're so fun to play, and the fans get so into it, and it's just an amazing atmosphere.
What is the story of your first OHL goal?
Yeah, so I think I got it pretty quickly actually, which I'm pretty fortunate about. It kind of came off the wall, if I can remember. I think might have been Bats, or I forget who it was who passed up to me. And then or maybe it was Fergus that passed across actually. But he passed across, and I just kind of floated a wrister in, and I think there was a couple screens in front. So I was lucky to find a way through on that one.
The puck had eyes, as they all say.
Yeah, that's really what it was for that one.
Well, in the summer, you were fortunate enough to get drafted by the Detroit Red Wings in the 5th round. What was that moment like for you?
Yeah, that was honestly one of the most amazing moments of my life. That's for sure. I went to the combine kind of a month before that or whatever. So that was even like I think they only invite like 110 people or something. So being there and kind of getting to talk to the teams and kind of show what I got in terms of the fitness testing and how my personality is and whatnot, kind of led me into the draft. And I didn't really know where I was going or if I was going to get picked or whatnot, but it was in Buffalo, so much of my family went down pretty close by here, and it was just an amazing moment when I heard my name get picked. I honestly I didn't even know what team it was. I had to look up at the board to see.
That's actually the best.
Because I was so nervous sitting there, so I had to look up the board. I was like, "What team was that?" And then obviously, Detroit, and I was super honored. And obviously, with the history they got, it's wow, like what an organization to get picked by.
Well, you also got, you were must have been so honored to be one of the 110 or one of the 120 prospects to be invited to the combine.
Yeah, that was huge. I remember my agent giving me a call or a text, just saying sending me the invite. He's like, congratulations, on making it, all this stuff. And obviously you kind of see the rankings throughout the year, and I didn't know exactly how many prospects were getting invited to the combine or whatnot, but yeah, when I heard got invited to that, I was pretty honored. That's for sure.
Now, I've done a lot of prospect interviews before, and I don't really typically ask them the question, but do you ever take a look at the rankings during the season or no?
Um, Honestly, yeah, it's hard not to. I
Yeah.
think whenever they come out with the central scouting rankings, and even the guys will talk about it in the room kind of thing, and kind of just joke around kind of about it. But yeah, it's hard not to, honestly, to see what where everyone is and what all that. So.
And does it almost add more fuel to the fire if you're ranked lower than what you expect to be?
I would say so. Yeah. Honestly, I wasn't too focused really on where I was ranked. I would just kind of focus on playing my game and all that. But like I said, at that point, I was honestly just super honored to be, in that conversation. I just wanted to keep playing well.
Were you ever nervous shaking the Red Wings GM's hand once they gave you the jersey and everything?
A little bit, yeah. I met with them a couple times before the draft. I met with them at the combine a few times during the year. So like I said, I didn't really know what team was kind of like interested in me going into the draft. But yeah, once I got drafted and went down there and kind of shook everyone's hand, I was just like, wow, like thank you so much kind of thing and all that stuff. So just Ken Hogg was the GM there at the time. So yeah, I was just, like I said, super honored and I'm so thankful.
Well, in the 2016-17 season, which was your second year as an Erie Otter, you got 40 points in 61 games. That was good enough for second on the team in defensive scoring. But, the team around you, guys that had, Darren Radish, Anthony Cirelli, Eric Chernak, Dylan Strome, what's it like being with that group of players?
Yeah, that was amazing. Honestly, I could go on, probably argue with anyone that may have been honestly one of the best major junior teams ever. That the London team was pretty good, and there's been some good teams over the years, but those players that we had on that team were, unbelievable. And it was just awesome to learn from them every day and be around them. They're all great guys, great teammates, and obviously great players. So I think just, being around them and seeing them, like how hard they practice and all that stuff really helped me develop my game.
It must be cool for you, with playing alongside of Anthony Cirelli and Eric Chernak, because now they're two-time Stanley Cup champions.
Yeah, that was awesome. I texted them after they won last year and this year as well. So me and Chernak were D partners in Erie. So yeah, I messaged him the other day and said congrats and everything. So that's awesome to see him winning that.
Well, with all your, playoff experience, what's it like on game day for you?
It's honestly, I like to keep it pretty relaxed on game day. For me, like when I did too tense, too serious, that's kind of when I kind of get in my own head and everything. So I keep it relaxed. I usually try and get there 2 hours before the game, and then take my stits, play some sewer ball with the guys, and do my warm up routine beforehand. So nothing too crazy for me. Just keep it chill, keep it relaxed, and just try to focus on myself.
How do you make sure that the nerves don't get to you during playoff game day?
I just, like I said, just try and take it as any other game. Like I said, just go through my typical routines for the game, and obviously playoffs are super intense and super high energy, but I feel like after the first shift or after warm-ups even, you kind of get that, okay, just kind of like playing hockey and just another game.
Well, during that playoff run, you guys matched up against London in the second round. Do you guys kind of have a, rivalry with them?
Yeah, honestly, it's probably one of the biggest rivalries, at least in my opinion, the OHL. We play each other so many times throughout the year and so many times in the playoffs throughout the years. So that was one of the best series that I played in for sure, going 7 games there, and full goal one in overtime for us. So yeah, it is a huge rivalry. I know the fans get super into it. So
well, I want to ask a perspective question here because we saw this this year with Montreal sweeping and then they win in 7. What you guys essentially did, in the first round, you guys beat the Sting in 4, and then you beat London in 7. But is it better to sweep a team or to kind of win in games 5, 6, and 7 to keep the momentum rolling?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I feel like me personally, I think sweeping would probably be better. Just that way, you did a little bit of rest. You get a lot of injuries kind of in the playoffs too, or little, nits and pains and whatnot. But I'd prefer a sweep over a longer series. I know a longer series just kind of gets intense, and it's probably better for the fans. But when you're able to sweep and kind of get that rest for the next round, I think that's preferred.
Just get rid of the other team. We don't want to face them anymore.
Basically, yeah, you play them every other day. So just get rid of them and then move on to the next round.
What was the feeling in the locker room once you guys beat Windsor during that same playoff run?
It was pretty crazy, honestly. It was just a huge kind of confidence boost, I think, for us. And yeah, it was just, I think we were all super excited, and just, ready for the next challenge.
You guys won the, OHL Cup there, but how much time was devoted to celebrating or comparing that to preparing for the Memorial Cup?
Honestly, not too much really. We probably celebrated for 1 or 2 days and then got right back at it and practicing. And, obviously winning the OHL Cup or the OHL Championship is a huge accomplishment for us and for any team. But, the Memorial Cup is the one you want to win at the end of the year. So we were really focused on trying to get ready for that.
In that Memorial Cup tournament, Windsor was the host team, but did you get a sense that they would come out fired up since they've been off for so long and they are playing in front of their home crowd?
Yeah, I didn't know how it was going to be for them. Obviously, I assumed they were going to come out firing, but when you're off for that long, you kind of, I wouldn't say lose, but you don't get that game feel for so long. So I didn't know if it was going to take them maybe a game or two to kind of get into things, but they were rolling right from the start. And obviously, I think their home fans really helped out quite a bit.
And I think with this pandemic, what we realize is that home crowd advantage is actually somewhat of an advantage, as we see with the NBA or NHL hosting, crowdless events. It really, sucks out that momentum you can get with the fans.
For sure. Like, honestly, from personal experience, yeah, like when your own fans kind of get into it and are, cheering for you or giving it to the other team, gives us kind of that extra boost of energy to really, play better and try and get some goals and obtain the win.
You unfortunately didn't, get the same success that you did in the OHL finals, but what do you take away from that run to the Memorial Cup?
Yeah, that was awesome, honestly, for me to play against. We don't get to play those other CHL teams at all unless it's the Memorial Cup. So playing guys in that tournament that are, like Barzal or other Shabbat, other guys that are NHL stars now is just, just like I said, I keep talking about my development, but playing against these top guys, it really did help and really did help, my confidence in my game kind of excel to the next level.
Did it almost hit you with like a wow factor that you're going up against, Barzal and Shabbat?
Yeah, it was kind of, cool to think about it then. And me and Chernak were like kind of like the shutdown pair on the Otters. So we were going up against these guys like every shift. So when you get a job kind of asked of you to shut down these first round NHL pits, it's for me, it's a huge motivator. And, I think it just helps my game excel.
What is it like being known as a shutdown pair?
I think it's for me. I like it. Maybe I hope the other players don't like playing against us, but being known as that, it was something I really took pride in and really wanted to make sure whenever we were on that they didn't score. So.
In the 2017-18 season, you played 38 games for Erie and scored 24 points, but then, my question here got messed up. Sorry about that, but how relieving is it to be consistent on the score sheet for yourself?
For me, it's pretty relieving, honestly. I'm a pretty streaky player, I'd say. I'd be getting like I don't get like a lot of points in a small time frame, and then I might go a couple of games without one. So honestly, what matters to me the most is the win at the end of the game. But when I can contribute, that always is a bonus.
It must also help with your confidence a lot.
Yeah, it is. It's a really big confidence booster for me when I can, help out on the score sheet and all that stuff. So I'm sure that's probably the way it is for most players. But when I can help out, it definitely helps.
You got traded to the Sioux in that same season. How did you hear about the trade?
Yeah, so it was honestly, I'll go through this story. It's kind of a crazy story, but I was with Erie. We were in Saginaw and Flint playing them Friday, Saturday, I think it was. So we were in Saginaw for the first game on Friday night. And then I was walking like into the game, like to go to the dressing room. And then my coach pulled me aside and was like, "Hey, like, you're not going to play tonight. Like, we got a trade for you." So I'm like, okay. So I got traded. I knew I got traded before the game. I'm still with the Otters. So at this point, it's like a little awkward. I'm technically not on this team anymore.
All right, you're kind of like with the guys in the dressing room, they're getting fired up for the game. You're like, all right, so like where am I going to? When am I leaving?
Yeah, exactly. So I stayed with the team the whole time. So we drove back after the Saturday night's game in Flint. So we drove back up home at like 3 a.m. And Kyle Raftis and the management up in the Sioux wanted me to play on Sunday in Guelph for the Sioux. So it's like a 3.5 hour drive or so up there from Erie. And then so I got home at 3 a.m. from Flint and then woke up at 6 a.m. to the game was at 2 to drive up to Guelph to play for the Sioux. And then after the game, I drove back to Erie, got all my stuff, drove home, and then flew up to the Sioux the following day. So it's a crazy couple of days, but
Talk about travel distance.
I know, put some miles on the car there, but
How many coffees did you drink pre-game? That's my question.
honestly, none. I'm not a coffee drinker, so I don't have any coffee. I probably just took a couple scoops of BioSteel or something.
Yeah, really.
Try and get me fired
I'm a
up,
big
so.
smelling salts guy though. Like, like it depend, like with your situation, like how you have to, you basically got to sleep for 2.5 hours before waking up at 6, or depending on that. But I would have taken a lot of smelling salts during that day.
Yeah, it's a hit or miss for me on the smelling. So it also depend on the team. Some teams didn't have them. So I only just take them sometimes right before the game when you kind of see all the guys take them, but honestly none for me until I got to the rink.
Well, since with that whole travel, did you kind of find it hard fitting in with the Sioux at first?
A little bit maybe, but I did know a few guys on the team, so I think that helped out. But especially when I like drove up there by myself, I think that kind of made it like a little bit more awkward, like not being on the bus with the guys and everything. And like kind of like I had to go park like downtown, carry my bag like into the rink kind of thing. But
I'm not used to this.
I know, seriously, it was a little weird, but I think I adjusted pretty quick.
In your time with the Sioux Greyhounds, you did accomplish a personal achievement, notching your 100th career OHL point. What does that mean for you?
Yeah, that was huge. Definitely a proud moment for myself, and I think it was in Saginaw that I got it. But yeah, it was a huge accomplishment for myself, and I think it was an assist that one. I can't remember who scored, but yeah, huge accomplishment for myself and just something that I'm very proud of.
You made the playoffs with the Sioux, but it seems as though that you personally always match up against Saginaw and always find success there. Do you kind of find that funny in a way?
A little bit, yeah, because we play being the Sioux. Saginaw is like probably our closest team, maybe Sudbury. They're about 3.5 hours, 4 hours each, but but we played them like 8 times in the season, so we see them quite a bit. And then yeah, we end up playing them in the playoffs. So I think we end up and we play them in the exhibition too, I think. So we end up playing them like 15 times a year or something. But yeah, it was pretty crazy that we get to play them that much.
How do you game plan against the team that you face so often?
Yeah, I think it's easier personally. You kind of know how they play and what players they got and all that. We still go through all of our power play, penalty kill, all that sort of stuff before the game. But I like playing them a lot in terms of like knowing them and knowing knowing what they do.
How did you bring experience to the locker room during that playoff run?
Yeah, it was. I tried to just kind of like tell everyone kind of how because me and Radish both went up there, so we kind of tried to tell everyone how exciting winning the OHL was and how much fun it is and how much just the atmosphere throughout the playoffs is just awesome. And just I would just try and bring that aspect to the locker room and kind of tell everyone that this is playoffs here is the best time of the year and all that stuff. So
you had the chance to play in the Canada versus Russia Super Series. I mean, that's a huge accomplishment or an achievement for yourself. What was that experience like?
Yeah, that was awesome. That was honestly probably one of my top memories in the OHL, that's for sure. I ended up playing in 3 of the games, one in my second year, I think 2 in my third year there. But yeah, being picked for that and just a huge honor. And yeah, I played against some top players in Russia and top players in our league. It was an awesome game to be a part of, and I think definitely a good showcase for myself.
You set out, or during your final season, I should say, you accomplished personal, career highs there. You had 49 points in 67 games. What does it feel like to, accomplish personal goals that you may have set out for yourself?
Yeah, it was awesome for myself, and like I said, I got a lot of opportunity on that SU team in my final year, and the coaching staff was great to me there, and just being able to, yeah, like I said, play like in all situations, power play, penalty kill, shut down, everything. It was, like I said, just really really good for my game, and achieving those goals were definitely a highlight.
What was so different about, the Sioux team that, that was your last season in the OHL, or, in the team that you played on prior to your last year?
Yeah, my third year there, the second last year, that team was really experienced. We had, it was almost like the Erie team where we had all these NHL pets, all these older guys and everything. And then we got to my final year and it was a lot of younger guys, but we still had some really good players, obviously Morgan Frost, Barrett Hayton, Matt Hollowell, all these NHL guys now. And but I'd say the core of the most of the group was younger guys that year. So I think we did a really good job of bringing our leadership to help these guys out. And yeah, like I said, it was a good run that we had, and I think we were one of the top teams right of the season. But yeah, just trying to bring our leadership to that group.
How did you find out that you were being named assistant captain of that Sioux team?
Yeah, so it was in the locker room actually. I think after a practice, and the coach kind of came in and said like, "Oh yeah, we'll like announce the captains now." We had to like vote for who we wanted as captain and as the assistants. So I guess I don't know if they just did it based on who won the votes or if they had a little say in it. I'm sure they had a say in it too and whatnot. But yeah, it was just, like I said, another honor to be named an assistant captain for that team and bring my leadership to that group.
As we recap your OHL career here, what is something that stands out for you?
I honestly just think probably that OHL championship is the biggest one. Obviously, you get 5 years maximum to play in the OHL, and not a lot of people get the opportunity to, even make it a playoff run, let alone, win the championship. And me, fortunate enough, being I made it to like the third round at least every year or second round, I guess, at least every year in the playoffs. So playing that many playoff games and being on so many good teams, I was very fortunate for that.
You then took your hockey career to Brock University. What did you study at Brock?
I was just in social sciences to start off, and then I switched into sport management just because I didn't have the proper credits into it right away. But sport management was the one that I wanted to do.
And did you enjoy that program there?
Yeah, it was good. Obviously, I think it's kind of known as like one of the top sport management programs in the country. So yeah, it was an awesome time to be in the program. I think a lot of the guys on the team were in it too. So that was nice.
Yeah, well, it must have been nice because then you guys get to build that relationship even stronger, given that you're taking the same class.
Yeah, exactly. Just trying to study together as well and do all that stuff. So it just kind of helps the team.
How did you hear about the university season getting canceled?
Um, Honestly, I can't remember exactly. I think I saw it online first, like on Twitter, and then our coach had like a Zoom meeting with us, like that night or the following night or something to kind of tell us what they were hearing and all that. So it was sucked to hear that, that's for sure. But I guess it's for the better of the safety of the players. So
How did you adjust for the different styles of play from, OHL hockey to university hockey?
it was a little different in my opinion. The OHL is a lot more skill based. I'd say a lot of guys that can take you one on one and do all that stuff, and then where the OUA was more chip and chase kind of grind style game. So it was a little bit different, but I think with me being kind of a physical defender, I was able to adjust pretty easily and kind of just to the OUA style.
Finish your checks every time, right?
Exactly. Never not finish them.
When did the opportunity come for you to play for the Florida Everblades?
Yeah, it was honestly like a couple days before I signed, which was I think middle of March or so. But one of their scouts texted me and called me and was trying to saying like, hey, like what's like your plans kind of thing. And it happened like really quickly. And I was kind of like thinking about it, and I got in contact with the head coach, and I was telling him like, about my school package and all this stuff. And he gave me the weekend to kind of sit on and decide. And, after talking over with my family and everything, I was like, yeah, this is like what I want to do. And like, I want to get into pro hockey. And starting the coast and try and work my way up as best as I can. And but yeah, when I heard the opportunity to come go play in Florida and looking at the standings, knowing Florida is like one of the best teams in the East Coast League, then it was a no-brainer, honestly, at the end of the day.
Did you play with fans?
Yes, we did. The rules are a little different down in Florida with COVID and all that. So we did have it was limited capacity, but yeah, it was with fans.
Well, at least with it being limited capacity, you could still have that energy that you've had throughout your whole career.
Yeah, exactly. It was nice to get that energy back. And like I said, OUA, some teams don't get as many fans as others, so it's a little different going to those rinks instead of playing in OHL rinks. But yeah, it was nice to get that energy back.
How did you make sure to stay in shape, just in case if an opportunity like this does arise for you?
Yeah, it was hard to, honestly. It was I was doing everything I could, doing like a bunch of home workouts, but with no gyms being open and the rinks being closed as well, it was hard to stay. I was basically using like outdoor rinks as like my ice time and all that stuff, trying to just work on drills by myself. And yeah, the home workouts were a huge thing for a couple months there, but just, yeah, like I said, I knew the opportunity, possibly could come up. And because I honestly went to Hartford camp before that, so I was able to get a little bit of ice time there and everything. So kind of in 2 months there is pretty crazy months, but yeah, just doing everything I could to stay in shape.
Well, as we wrap up this interview here, do you have any advice for aspiring hockey players?
I think honestly, one of the biggest things is, always do everything you can to keep working hard. And I know it's kind of cliche, but it really is, the mainstream of hockey. If you can keep working hard and keep, persevering yourself and doing, that extra rep or doing that extra, drill and practice, it really does go a long way, and it will really help you. And honestly, people like scouts looking at you, if they see, how hard you're working and how, much you're giving it your all, they'll notice that. So.
Well, I'd like to thank again Jordan Sambrook for joining me on today's Pagcast. Thank you again, Jordan.
Thank you very much.